Welcome to another episode of the Hot
Seat
Pod. Come on, give me a thumbs up.
I like that one.
Was that actually good or no?
Yeah, it was good.
Good power, good energy.
All right.
It's the day.
Welcome to another episode of the Hot
Seat.
Pod, brought to you by Playbook
You
Sports.
did not hit that, by the way.
I didn't. Welcome to another episode of the Hot
Seat.
Pod.
No, just move on. I'm sorry.
All right. Brought to you by Playbook Sports. I'm Anthony. To my right, I got the greatest of all time, the trivia champ himself,
The champ.
Wilson Wayne.
Where's the belt? Where's the belt? I'm hanging the belt. Invisible belt
where
right
is the
here.
belt?
It's over there.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Wilson kind of bodied me a couple weeks ago. Hasn't defended it. He's a fucking phony champion.
Hey,
But next week I'll take
Sorry.
it back.
sorry. Champ is here, baby.
Next
Everyone see it.
Next week, I go after my belt. This week, we talk about our top 25 fantasy, keep in mind fantasy, wide receivers in the NFL this season. This kind of touches home, bro, because a year ago today, around this time, we put together a list like this and we put it out. It was our
We
first
did.
video on our channel.
Yeah.
So, we're here to show the world.
Your anniversary, baby.
We ball. We're on the road to 250 subscribers as well. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, hit all that. We're going to do this in two parts. So you're going to get 25 through 11 today, 1 through 10 tomorrow. But there's a lot in this portion of it. Like, there's a lot of dudes that I have rising that you guys probably wouldn't expect. So make sure you guys stay tuned to hear all that. Will I miss anything? Anything else you want to say?
Hit it all, baby. Hit it all. Let's run this list, baby.
Let's run this list. At number 25, I have Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Not even on my list.
I'm not surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't trust Watson as much as I trust Flacco. And low-key, bro, I think I'm falling into the Jerry Jeudy trap.
What?
I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to have a good year, and I'm really
Really?
scared. Yeah.
You don't have Judy in the top.
I don't.
25.
I don't. No.
Okay.
No.
All right, yeah.
But that's more because with my list, I kind of took account, like, their ceiling and their floor. And, like, Amari Cooper finishes the wide receiver 16 last year. I could definitely see him doing that again. But I just... Like, Jerry Jeudy could get in the top 25 this year, is all I'm saying. Because, like, he's listed as the wide receiver 2 now. I don't believe in Cooper. And then, like, Watson, like, I don't know about that Watson-Cooper connection. Like,
Yeah.
maybe Jeudy got that with him, you know?
Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe it's his revival in Cleveland.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the only thing with Amari Cooper is, like, if he's going to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Like, if he's able to play the whole, like, 17-game season. That's really the only concern I have with him. And, like, he's, like, 30-something, right?
Yeah, I think he's turning 30 or, 30-something.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that's really the thing with him.
30, yeah.
Yeah. But my 25, I had Malik Neighbors.
Okay.
I really like Malik Neighbors, and I feel like I mentioned it a few times on the pod, but he's been looking great, honestly, through training camp, through preseason. I think there's been like a couple like clips with him, like catching like high ball, like high point throws from the quarterback, and I think, I mean, like I said it before, I think he's Jamar Chase 2.0.
Jeez.
I don't think he's gonna have like a crazy rookie season as he did, but he's definitely gonna finish top 25 in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of sliding off the Daniel Jones hype train a little bit. That preseason game scared me. I know it was his first game, like, fully back, so
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a little slack. But, yeah, Malik Neighbors looks good. He just doesn't.
Doesn't?
Daniel Jones doesn't look good.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah. Doesn't look good. My 24,
So we basically like switched spots then.
yeah, now you're high on him.
Yeah.
24, I got Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
I don't know if that's low. I don't know if that's high. But for me, I just think he's kind of overrated and Carr sucks. He has 9 career touchdowns in 2 years. So, I don't know. I just think for a team with, like, no weapons, really, like, I'd expect that number to be a little higher. And it just isn't.
Yeah. Chris Olave.
On your list?
He's a lot higher than mine.
Okay.
I guess we can get into that later.
We will.
24 for me, I got Calvin Ridley.
I don't have him on mine.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have him
Dang,
on
I
mine.
thought you were kind of high on the Titans.
I do. I believe in them. I just think with him and Hopkins, I mean, I know Hopkins is out.
Yeah.
I just don't know when he's back, like, who's going to be the real wide receiver one. And I'm not super high on Levis. Like, I like Levis, but I like them because there's a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of options. But talk about what you like from Ridley a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Calvin Ridley, obviously he signed a pretty big deal in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I think within the next 1 or 2 years, he's still going to be that guy. I think he's the clear number one guy here on the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Hopkins, he is like a little bit low or older than him, but I think a lot of people forget about Calvin Ridley. How good he is, and with the short time he's had in the NFL, like he has something to prove, and we've already seen that last year in Jacksonville. He hit 1,000 yards. I think he could hit 1,000 again for sure. And yeah.
The wide receiver 17 last year. The year before that, I think, was the year he got hurt, and then he got suspended after that. But the year before that, he was a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Calvin Ridley at his ceiling was really good. But
He's done it.
I don't know if I don't think he'll get there again. I think he could finish in that. If I had to project, I'd probably say in the 16 to like 40 range.
1640.
Yeah, like finish
That's
wide
pretty big
receiver
gap.
1640. Yeah, I don't really know where he is, but I'm rooting for him. Maybe 1630.
1630.
My number 23, I have Devonta Smith.
Devontae Smith.
Last year wide receiver 22. Year before that, wide receiver 10.
Around the same range.
Yeah, it's just like.
It's tough with like AJ Brown there.
Yeah, like you're trying to predict the year that he overtakes AJ Brown every year, and AJ Brown's still young. He's still a monster. Like, at his ceiling, if you told me Devontae Smith finishes a top 10 receiver this year, I probably wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
If you told me he finished outside the top 25, I probably wouldn't be surprised. So, I feel like 23 is kind of a fair range for that. Yeah, he's just a red zone threat, but I just think Saquon might take a little bit away from that.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I thought last year that was going to be the year he was going to take off. I think a lot of other people did as well. But, yeah, I think A.J. Brown, he's only like 27. He's still like, he's in his prime of his career. It's just pretty hard to have like two really good guys, two top guys on the same team to really rank them on the same list. Yeah, and I bet we both have them both on the list, on the top 25 list too.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's pretty hard. So I wouldn't oppose putting him at 23.
I was talking to Christian, because Christian did this with us last year. Mm-hmm. He was part of the Hot Seat Pod at RIP. But he was telling me how he was pissed that you had A.J. Brown at 18 last year.
I did. I'm a lot higher. Let's say that.
I want to rewatch that episode. But who do you have at 23?
23, I got Michael Pittman.
Okay. Damn.
You don't like him, huh?
I like him.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I like him a lot, actually. He's on my dynasty team.
I don't know why. For some reason, I thought like you were kind of fading him.
No, I'm not fading Michael. I think you took an over I didn't like.
Over. Oh, yeah, that's right.
You took an over I didn't like, but I'm not fading him.
Yeah. I guess if you guys didn't know about that, go watch our AFC South. You guys are AFC South, I think.
Yeah.
AFC South
Yeah.
bets. Yeah. Go take a look at the Michael Pittman bet. Let us know if you like it or not.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but it was something high, and I took Jonathan Taylor's over, so I didn't want to like.
Those are yards. Those are receiving yards for sure. I couldn't remember
all you
the
did.
line. That's like all I did. So, but me, I had Michael Pittman. Obviously, he's gonna have A-Rich thrown to him now. That's gonna be a big upgrade. I think he's a clear receiver 1 over there. Even though he has a really good supporting cast around him, you got Josh Downs, you got A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, but he's that main guy for sure. I think he's gonna get fed a lot from Anthony Richardson, and honestly, I would have put him a lot higher, but it's like we're now like in a year in a state where it's like we have so many good receivers in this league. Mm-hmm. It's pretty hard to like put all these good receivers on this list. Like, there's definitely guys that are left out that should be a top 25 and like any other like generation or decade ago, but now it's just like so competitive,
Yeah, I mean, I have him a little higher, but I think the one thing that scares me about him is injuries for sure, and he only had 4 touchdowns last year. And, like, last year was the year for him to, like, get a big number. He missed Anthony Richardson's rushing touchdown. Jonathan Taylor missed some games. Yeah. Josh Downs missed some games. Like, he was the only real receiver there. Now with them being kind of, like, full form, like, it does kind of scare me. Like, if he could only get 4 touchdowns, like, what if he gets 3 touchdowns last year? Like, fuck, 1,300 yards is cool, but 3 touchdowns, that's not going to win you a fantasy league.
Yeah.
Especially in like a wide receiver 2 range. So,
Yeah. I'd agree for sure.
my number 22 is a surprise.
Let's hear it.
Surprise, dude. You know, I feel like you've kind of put me on him lately, and unintentionally, and that's Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
I think Christian Kirk could have like an up year. I feel like this 22 range isn't like. I'm not saying he's a top 10 dude, top 15 dude, or nothing like that, but I feel like he's T.Ly's only receiver this year that he played with last year. He finishes the wide receiver 47 last year, but he was hurt. The last time he was healthy, he was the wide receiver 11.
Oh, wow.
So this is a realistic expectation for him, and it's not like that was a long ago. Like that was 2 years ago. He was the wide receiver 11. So him at 22, I feel like is a realistic spot for him to be in. I think he's like a sneaky like. You could probably get him later in your drafts and him be a realistic wide receiver 2 for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think people forget like how good he was when he was healthy, and like Christian Kirk. Yeah, I've definitely talked about him. He's definitely a sleeper guy. I would definitely pick him up later, or he's projected like pretty late in the draft, right? So I would definitely go scoop him if he's still there.
You put me on him from talking about Khalil Shakir. Mm-hmm. So
I do remember that.
I went in our dynasty league and tried to trade for Khalil Shakir, and I sent an offer to Ian, and I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a great offer. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But this dude hit me back with like, I have an offer like I'm sitting on, so you're gonna have to send me more. And I was like, dang, what's the offer? And he was like, let's say it's closer to George Pickens than what you offered. I'm like, bro, I'm not about to give you George Pickens for Khalil Shakir, bro. I told him take that offer. Take the other offer. You're dumb if you don't. Yeah. But yeah, we've been having fun in that dynasty league. I'm happy to be in one of those.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, dynasty. Gotta love dynasty. Gotta join dynasty.
Gotta do it.
9-1 yet? Join one.
Get your homies and do it, because it's the ultimate way to yap and feel like you're a fucking GM. Yeah. The ultimate way.
Yeah. That's a grind for sure.
Who do you have at 22?
22, I got Zay Flowers.
Ooh, I didn't have him on mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, another year with Lamar, another year of progression for Zay Flowers. He's obviously the receiver 1 over there. Pretty much the only real receiver on that team, honestly.
Let me see this.
I think he's going to get a lot more touches this year, a lot more touchdowns. I think last year he wasn't much of a touchdown guy. I could definitely see this year becoming more progression in that.
I can't see that.
What do you mean?
Maybe I'm hating, but I think my problem with him is like you have Lamar who takes rushing touchdowns, Derrick Henry who takes rushing touchdowns, and Mark Andrews who takes touchdowns. They love Likely in the red zone. Like the touchdown numbers, I don't think will be there for Zay.
I think the next guy after Mark Andrews is Zay Flowers. I don't know.
Passing, yeah, but I feel like they're such a team that does that weird shit in the red zone. You know, like I think we talked about that before, but it's like once. Yeah. If Zay Flowers gets those break-off touchdowns, which he definitely has the ability to, I think he could rack off 3, 4, 5 of them next year. Yeah. But once you get in the red zone, I think I'm looking at Mark, I'm looking at Derrick Henry, I'm looking at like even like a Keaton Mitchell, who I think still hasn't had like a fair chance in the league. Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, definitely like red zone. I feel like those guys are like the first options, but it's not gonna be like that all the time, you know.
True.
There's always like the jet sweeps, and they could do like some weird plays, like you said, to Zay Flowers. But yeah. I think next year is a progression for him. So I'd say 2022's okay spot. But
I feel like it's okay. I don't have him there, but yeah, he could finish there. I wouldn't be surprised. Like if you said, was Zay Flowers the 22? I don't even know what he finished at last year. What do you think it was?
I actually had him in one league, and then I traded him.
Really? For what?
I think it was for like Jonathan Taylor. It was like a package deal or something. Like later in the year.
I'll take that. He was the wide receiver 30 last year.
Yeah, so just few spots up. I could definitely see that.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if his value goes up with Andrews, Derrick Henry there, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Like it was only his rookie year, right? And I feel like rookie year for receivers, it's just them kind of just getting into the league.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, but I guess we're just going to have to see the season unfold and see.
My 21, I have a rookie. I'm Malik Neighbors here. Ooh. We kind of talked about him already, so we don't have to do too much. But I just feel like he's like such a good receiver. He has to be on this list somewhere. Like
absolutely.
As a receiver, he's probably a top 15, top 20 receiver in the NFL already. So, in fantasy, he's got to be finishing somewhere up there.
Top 15, 20 in the NFL.
I think so. Is that wild to say?
I think you might be right. I don't know. It's like I said, it's pretty hard, bro, because we have so many good receivers in this league.
Yeah, it is a stacked league,
Yeah,
bro.
so it's crazy. But my 21, I had Devontae Smith. Kind of talked about him already. You know, good place in Philadelphia. Great receiver too. Potential. Yeah, I don't know.
Not much to say.
Not much to say.
Wide receiver 20. I have Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle.
I have Jalen Waddle right here. I just think like he's finished as the wide receiver 7 before, while Tyreek finished like as a top receiver. I just think he needs to have a healthy season and to get those touchdown numbers up a little bit. He had 6, 8, and 4 in the last 3 years. So if he could get to like that 8, 9 range, I know A-Chain and Mostert take a lot of touchdowns from him. So that's why I'm not expecting too much from him. But I just think that offense is so like lethal. Like draft those players.
Yeah.
Maybe not. This might be a hot take. We'll probably do running backs next week, I'm guessing. But I think A-Chain is going a little too high for what I view him as in redraft.
For sure.
But everyone else draft on this team.
Yeah.
But don't reach on A-Chain.
I would not reach on him. Honestly, I'm not as high as everyone else is either.
They love him.
So we just know ball, man.
We know ball like that, baby.
Yeah, we just know ball. For my 20th, I had DJ Moore.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I feel like that's low.
You think that's low?
I think that's low.
I thought that was right. I thought that was just right.
Okay, talk about it.
I mean, DJ Moore, I think out of all these guys in Chicago, he's the receiver 1, definitely. I mean, obviously you have Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet to compliment him. But DJ Moore, like, he's already, like, been in the league where, like, he's, like, worked with so many other quarterbacks and, like, he's gone through it all. Now, like, he's, like, pretty much in the prime of his career, you know. Keenan Allen's getting a little bit older. Rome Odunze is just coming in. So he's kind of, like, in the middle range between those two guys. And I think he'll succeed pretty well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with him succeeding. But I think it's low. I feel like his quarterback's more accurate. He's not going to get double teamed as often. I think Caleb Williams is used to having like a bad line, so he could get the ball out a little quicker than Fields did. There's just a lot of things that I like about DJ Moore next year. Like I would reach on him for sure.
Really?
I think he has.
The thing is, like, it's just like so much other like competition around him. It's like you're not really too sure, like if.
But Keenan Allen's a fat ass now. Have you seen that?
But he's still Keenan Allen. I did see that.
240, bro.
Hey,
come on.
That's a tight end right there.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He's not taking touches from DJ Moore. He's taking touches from Cole Kmet, bro.
I still touches though.
I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, my number 19. This might be a surprise,
All
but
right.
this is where I had Nico Collins.
Ooh.
On your list, or you had him higher? Or what?
I had him higher, a little bit too high, maybe.
I get worried with how many options the Texans have.
I mean, that's how I feel about the Chicago Bears, though.
But, like, Diggs is a proven receiver. Tank Dell almost had 1,000 yards last year. You know, when you compare Keenan Allen, who's, like, visually getting fat and a rookie, to, like, 2 top dog receivers, I just think it's kind of different. I think, like, Nico, Diggs, and Tank Dell definitely help Stroud, but I don't know if they help, like, Nico necessarily. I think another thing with that is, like, when Nico, Tank Dell, and even, like, Noah Brown last year, like, you couldn't really double team Nico as often, but DJ Moore is, like, you're double teaming the fuck out of him because it's, like, you double DJ Moore and who's open? Darnell Mooney? Like,
yeah.
We're not really tripping about that. So, I mean, there's a world definitely where Nico Collins finishes in the top 7 to 8 receivers next year. There's also a world where he's in the top 30 to, like, late 25.
Yeah.
Diggs, second to last year, he was the wide receiver 2 next to Thielen, and he still got 1,000 yards, and Thielen got 1,300. So I'm hoping maybe that's what happens to Nico Collins next year, as a Texans fan, obviously. But he was the wide receiver 9 last year, so.
Yeah.
This is an interesting stat, too, actually. Last year, he had more yards, receptions, and touchdowns than both his prior years combined.
Nico?
Yeah.
He had a great year last year.
He was a monster.
He was a beast for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So you're saying that Nico could either go like as high as like top 8 or as low as like top 30?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I
mean, I could agree with that. Just because like you said, the competition, it's like you don't know for sure who's gonna be the true receiver 1 out of that group.
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone's drafting Tank Dell kind of high. I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that either.
I wouldn't. He's in the A-chain place for me. I love Tank Dell, obviously.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do that. But, like, there's a world where all three of these receivers hit 1,000 yards, and you can't really have a top 10 wide receiver when all your other dudes are hitting 1,000 yards. Not to mention, like, Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon. Like, there's a lot of dudes there.
There is. That's true.
There's, weapons. So, I put him at 19. But, again, like, it's more like he's in the middle of the ranges.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For me, I had a Debo Samuel at 19.
Okay.
Yeah, Debo, and I think Debo and Ayuk, they kind of go hand in hand. I'm low-key kind of like a Debo hater, but then, like, I kind of look back at the past years where, like, I didn't really rank him as high, and I think I'm finally kind of going to give in, you know. I'll put him in the top 25.
You didn't have him in the top 25 last year?
I think I might have, maybe, like, on the lower end. I'd have to, actually, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to double check. It's been a year, but Debo, I mean, he's obviously a little bit older than Ayuk, but he's still Debo, right? I think the only concern with him is just injuries.
Yeah.
If he's gonna stay healthy with that, but he's been in San Francisco for all his years. You know, he's had that chemistry with everyone, so I think he could finish around that 19 range.
Yeah, I think Purdy's play style definitely works better for a Debo type of player rather than an Ayuk too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Debo last year finished as the wide receiver 7, which really surprised me when I saw it. But, yeah, I like him. My 18, this is where I have Mike Evans. And
Mike Evans.
I know it might be a little weird, but I just think, like, I have a lot of dudes rising up this year.
Yeah.
So I had, like, the older dude, like, obviously I'm going to have him slip a little. That was kind of my thought process behind it. He was the wide receiver 4 last year. And I have him at 18, but yeah, I think like the Trey Palmers of the world, who is their rookie?
Jalen McMillan.
Jalen McMillan's of the world, like some of those touches are going to start getting taken a little bit.
Yeah.
I also believe a lot in Rashad White, so I slid him, but it hurts. I'm not going to lie. I like Mike Evans a lot, so.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had him a lot higher.
Yeah.
Like a lot higher, but we can dive into that deeper.
Okay.
Dive into that in the next video.
But I'm not even mad at it because like there is a world where I could see Mike Evans in the top, like not 5, but yeah, like the top 7, top 8. And then like Nico, there's a world where he's like lower 25, 30th, you know?
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, so that's kind of, it's more of the ceiling floor, like trying to figure out a middle ground rather than like me saying like Mike Evans is the 18th best receiver next year, guarantee, you know?
Yeah, that's right. This video's strictly fantasy.
Strictly fantasy.
Yeah. Value, like strictly skills receivers, whole different list.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Evans is top 10 or top 5 or.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, I had Jalen Waddle at 18. Kind of went over him already. Position in Miami, I think, have a little bit higher than you for Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
So. I don't know, not really much to say right
You
there.
just diss me right there? What the fuck?
I think Jalen Waddle's gonna have a little bit better season, honestly.
I hope so, dude. Yeah. You know, my fantasy team was named after him last year, and I won a Super Bowl.
That's right.
I won a Super Bowl off of trading him, actually. So
he was the key.
He was the key. He was such an important. Shout out Jalen Waddle. Please finish top 10 next year, so I could trade you some more shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My number 17. This is where I had DK.
DK.
Low, high, how do you feel?
I had him higher.
Okay.
I had him higher.
I just think Lockett will be sliding to the wide receiver 3 next year.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's a shootout quarterback.
Yeah.
Their O-line sucks. They have one of the worst O-lines in the NFL, but they just got Scott Huff, who is Alabama's O-line coach. And I feel like that's a good sign to get those guys kind of to start developing a little bit. Yeah. And then also their new offensive coordinator led Washington to the national championship, to one of the most electric offenses in college football last year. And you could say like, oh, that team was stacked. They have 5 NFL players in their skill positions. But the Seahawks are stacked. Other than like maybe the quarterback position, they have elite skill players. Like if they could, they're what like the Steelers were last year offensively, I feel like. So I think DK 17 range. I think he's more of a dude where like, I think he's going to finish between like 12 and 18. Like it's not that much big of a range.
Okay.
But
I could agree with that.
Last year wide receiver 15, year before that wide receiver 19.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, DK, he's like at the prime of his career, honestly. I think, honestly though, with the fall off of Tyler Lockett and obviously like, you got Sam Howell or Geno Smith thrown to him. That's gonna be, I think it's good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think for him, he's gonna do a lot better, and just play for those targets and get those touchdowns. I think.
Just run the play.
So, just run the play, baby. But we can talk about him. I could talk about him a little bit later. I
Okay.
a little bit higher on my list. But 17 for me, I had Brandon Ayuk.
Okay.
So I basically had Brandon Ayuk and Debo. Like they can kind of go interchangeable. Honestly, I feel like ranking wise, like they're pretty like around.
They're
the
literally
same.
like the same. I did the same
For
shit.
sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're a little bit different when it comes to like skill at the receiver position, but like value wise, they're right there hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I put Ayuk at 16, so
Okay.
I'm right there with you. Not much to say about him though. I think like last year he finishes the wide receiver 10. You draft Ricky Pearsall, although he's like hurt. Like if you drafted it in the first round, you're kind of looking for him to be like a weapon right away.
Yeah.
So I think that might take more touches away from him rather than like a Debo type of dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much to say about Brandon Ayuk, but
Yeah.
if he gets traded now, we could have a different conversation. Because him on the Steelers, I think, might have a little bit of a higher ceiling. Might lower one of my dudes I have a little bit higher. But yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. 16, I had Chris Olave.
that's high.
Hi?
That's high, bro.
Dude, I like Chris Olave, okay? And I had a bet on him too, so I'm gonna like stay on my business, bro.
I'm gonna stand on your business.
Chris Olave, bro. I have him on my Dynasty League too.
Jeez, you fucking
Get
put
him, man.
all the chips in there.
Get Chris Olave. I like him, man. I think he's a raw receiver. Obviously, like, you know, there's that quarterback situation in New Orleans they're trying to figure out. But regardless, you know, if it's going to be Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, he's going to go out there and perform, get the ball. He's really the only lone, like, target on the Saints. So it's like he's going to get that work in. He's going to put that work in. Now they have Kamara back, too, to kind of lead off some of that receiving receptions, too. I think Rashid Shaheed is not bad. So,
Dude, I just think, like, if he didn't do it last year, why would he do it this year? You know, like, where's the jump coming? Like, if they had
It's
a
coming.
different quarterback, I think I would probably have him in the same range as you.
Mhm.
Like, in that 16 range. But Derek Carr is just so bad and gets worse by the year, it feels like.
that's why Spencer Rattler's taking over.
I don't think Rattler's that good either, though. He was the wide receiver 23 and then the wide receiver 24.
Yeah.
So, like,
I mean, last year he did have a better year than his rookie season, so it's like I feel like from there it's kind of like
progression.
It's gonna go up from there, definitely.
I hope so.
1,123 yards last year. Touchdowns were a little bit lower, but I think you know with the third year coming in with Chris Olave, I think he'll be all right.
I don't know. I don't see him in that elite like vein, maybe like that everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see him with a different quarterback. I think that could change my perception because Derek Carr is just so bad, bro. He's just so dog shit. I'm sorry. If they traded for someone or traded Olave, like I'd probably feel different. But maybe if they
Yeah.
land a Shadur Sanders next year, like Shadur and Olave would be
That would
dope.
be cold. That would be pretty cold.
I don't have a watch on, but that would be a flex. I said my 16 already.
Who's your 16?
Ayuk.
Yeah, you said that.
Okay, 15. I have Debo. You covered everything. I don't have any other like info to kind of present.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
nothing really to say.
15 and got George Pickens, baby.
Yes, sir.
George
We're a
Pickens.
Pickens podcast.
Yes, sir.
We're a
Pickens
Pickens
Pod.
podcast.
Pickens Pod. Change the name.
Talk about it.
George Pickens, man. I feel like this is the year, bro, where he gets unleashed, bro.
Yes.
Where he gets unleashed. Russ, my boy Russ Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I think now he gets to play with like a true quarterback. I don't get it how like people hate on Russ, man. I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
He had a bad preseason game, but yeah, I mean it's the preseason.
It's the preseason. I mean, I feel like now like he gets to work with like an experienced quarterback who's been there, done that. You know, George Pickens. It's gonna be a great upgrade for him. Obviously, gonna have a lot of support too from his other receivers and Pat Frymuth. Roman Wilson, all those guys. That's gonna really like elevate his game. I think for sure, and I think obviously another year in the league, that's gonna make him progress.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think like both quarterbacks last year had like a bad year, but football isn't like a one player sport. You know, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't attribute all of the Broncos' failure to Russell Wilson. I wouldn't attribute any of the Bears' failure to Justin Fields, honestly. But I think like having this stacked team with a Najee, with a Pickens, with a good O-line, with a good defense, like both of these quarterbacks, it's kind of their last chance.
Yeah.
Because Justin Fields could be out the league, Russell Wilson could be retired by
Yeah.
the end of the year, dude.
Absolutely.
My 14, this is where I had Michael Pittman Jr. Dude, when I first like wrote the players out, I put Michael Pittman in like my top 5. Or I think top 6.
Really?
Yeah, because I just wanted him to be there
shit.
so bad, dude.
Yeah.
But the touchdown numbers are just so low.
Yeah.
Last year was like the first year where he could have like really shown it. I need him to have a big year this year, and then next year I'll put him in my top 10. But I just,
definitely.
with the information I have, I can't do that yet.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, with Anthony Richardson, like obviously we both think like he's gonna be a great quarterback, right? But it's like we still have to see that full season with Anthony Richardson
Yes.
to see like where he's at with that. So I like how you put Michael Pittman at that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, higher than me for sure. 14 for me.
So don't ever question if I'm a Michael Pittman guy.
Hey,
To this day.
I'll get a Michael Pittman jersey, man. Put it right here.
Maybe with our bet, we bet a Michael Pittman
Michael
jersey.
Pittman jersey. For sure. 14 for me is where I had DK.
Okay.
So a little bit higher than yours. Obviously, kind of already covered that. Yeah, I think he's in the prime of his career, man. I had a player prop bet for him. If you guys didn't check that out, it's on our Prize Picks videos / Underdog. So
Plug him up.
definitely go check that out. But basically covered everything with that. Yeah.
Plug him up. Yeah, shout out Michael Pittman. That's
Yes,
Will's
sir.
guy. My 13. This is where I had A.J. Brown. Is
AJ
that
Brown.
low?
A little lower. I had him higher.
Okay.
I had him higher.
Last year finishes the wide receiver 8. Year before that, wide receiver 4. There's just so much going on there, bro. Like, obviously, he could finish as the wide receiver 8. He could finish in the top 5, I think. But just Devontae and Saquon kind of scare me. Jalen Hurts scares me. 2 nearly 1,500 yards years back to back, and he's only 27. It's just there's a lot there, bro. There's a lot there, like especially in the red zone. That
Yeah.
like A.J. Brown isn't. When I'm in the red zone, if I'm playing Madden and I'm using the Eagles, I'm in the red zone. I'm not looking for A.J. Brown, bro. I'm looking for Devontae Smith. I'm looking for Goddard. I'm looking for
Really?
Saquon. I'm looking to take off with Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Like A.J. Brown's like the 5th dude I'd probably look at in the red zone.
5th dude?
Yeah.
5th dude's kind of crazy.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I mean, AJ Brown, he's still that guy though.
He's
The
still
rest
that
of the
guy. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna disrespect. Again, I think he could finish in the top 5. I think as a receiver, he's a top 10 receiver.
Okay.
I just like fantasy wise, it's hard for me to put him with some of the names ahead of him.
Yeah. I mean, it is a pretty stacked league now for receivers.
Yes.
So, yeah. No, definitely. That's interesting though. I'm a little bit higher, so we can
Okay.
talk about that later. But 13 for me, I had Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I really liked Devontae Adams this year.
I do too.
I think he could honestly finish top 10, but I just have him at 13 for now.
I do too.
Just because they announced Gardner Minshew as a starting quarterback now, I think that's the best decision they
Literally.
should have made.
It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Gardner Minshew, he could throw the ball, and that's really all he needs, honestly. His last quarterbacks were Jimmy G, Aiden McConnell. Poor guys, just like, that could just not throw, you know. Now he gets Gardner Minshew, which honestly is a pretty big upgrade.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah.
Especially like you could say what you want about Gardner Minshew. As
Yeah,
like
honestly,
a
it might
winner.
be a better upgrade than Derek Carr.
Yeah, I think so. I would take Gardner. I mean, maybe like to win football games, sure, but
Yeah.
fantasy, bro, like he's gonna sling the rock.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
gonna sling it, and Devontae's the dude you're slinging it to. I have him a little higher. I have a lot of stuff on him, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a little bit. But my number 12, I have Garrett Wilson,
Garrett Wilson?
and Garrett Wilson's another one of those dudes that I think is going a little too high in fantasy right now. I feel like a lot of people are taking him in the first round. There's just like running backs and other dudes that I would take over Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I think he has a high ceiling, low floor. I think it's like everyone kind of saying like, oh, now he has Rodgers, like he's gonna ball out. But it's also like we have to see it.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we said about Anthony Richardson and Pittman. Like we have to see it first, and I just don't understand why that goes only for like certain situations. He never finished in the top 20 wide receivers with no other weapons next to him. Like at least Olave has had those seasons, 23, 24. Last year Garrett Wilson was 36 and 21. And then I know Mike Williams isn't a real threat as far as like yards go, but in the red zone, like you pick up Mike Williams, you use him in the red zone. Like that's a dumb decision to not do that.
Yeah.
And then lastly, like having such a good defense is going to lead to them running the ball more. Like if they're winning games, like why are you throwing it to Garrett Wilson when you're up 14-21?
Yeah.
You know, so
That's true.
just a couple little factors.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I think the only really issue is like, obviously they signed Mike Williams and everything. It's just about him, like if he's gonna come back and be the same guy, that top like red zone, like just throw it up guy. But I don't mind putting Wilson at that spot though. I have him a few spots higher, but for myself, I had at number 12, I had Puka.
Okay.
And Puka is a guy that we were already seeing last year how well he did. I think he kind of roams around like the same range, the top tier receiver guys in that on that list. I did see a little breakdown though from this other Rams receiver. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they just drafted him this past draft, and people are saying he could be the next like Puka prototype type of guy because they're utilizing him kind of like the same way.
Is it Whittington?
I think it is Wellington. Yeah.
I saw a lot of like his sleeper value going up on the app, but I didn't.
Yeah, but honestly, like it's like, how many of those guys could you have on the same team?
Yeah.
You already have Puka. You already have Cooper Kupp. But honestly, I think Cooper Kupp will be more of like a mentor, rather than like a playmaker like on the Rams. But I guess that's still another guy to kind of look forward to within the next like few years in the future.
I feel like Puka's kind of getting discredited for last year a lot, and I know
Yeah.
people miss games and stuff, but we're talking about a rookie that finished in the top 5 of all receivers in the league in a wild receiver year.
Yeah.
Like, when does that happen? You know?
Doesn't.
And we just like, oh, but he's a fluke. Oh, but Cooper Kupp was hurt. Oh, like we're gonna do that? Like
Yeah.
we're just gonna keep making up excuses for him? Like, I don't know. Top 5 is a rookie, bro. And it's like he's a receiver. He's not a running back where it's like they could put him in at the goal line every play or feed him the ball. Like, running backs get their touches manually. Like, you run a play for a running back. A receiver, they still got to get open every play. And that's just my whole thing with Puka. Puka was a great receiver last year.
Great receiver.
I have him a little bit higher. But at my number 11... this is where I had Devontae Adams because I am with you on believing in Devontae Adams next year.
I like it, man. I like it.
When he played with Derek Carr, he was the wide receiver 2. Devontae Adams.
Gardner Minshew, wide receiver 1.
That's what I'm saying. Devontae Adams went to Vegas to play with Derek Carr for some reason and then got stuck with Aiden O'Connell last year. Like, that's a problem. In the 2 seasons Minshew started majority games, he had Michael Pittman Jr. finished in the top 25. And this is actually DJ Chark's only year finishing in the top 20. Sorry, DJ Chark's only year finishing in the top 45, and he finished at 16 with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
So it just shows that Minshew is elevating these guys, and he's old, I know, but his last 5 healthy seasons, he finishes the wide receiver 3, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 5, and wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And then last year, where he finishes the wide receiver 14. But...
Yeah.
again, Aiden O'Connell, like, that is a real bad quarterback. And it's not even bad in the way, like, Jameis, where at least he slings it. Like, Minshew will sling him the ball. Devontae Adams will eat. Simple.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think, and I'm, like, honestly, like, beginning of this, I was, like, a hater for, like, skill position guys. Like, when it comes to, like, running backs, receivers.
Who did you say was their Julio year? Did you say Devontae? Or was it Hopkins?
Julio year. Who did I say? Was it Derrick Henry?
Was it? I thought it was receiver. I think it was.
I might have said something about a receiver too. Maybe it was Mike Evans, but I totally turned on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because now, like, dude, I don't even like consider that unless they're like 34 or like some shit like that. Then I wouldn't even consider that. I think, like you said, like Devontae Adams, he's just a raw guy, man. He's gonna get out there and ball.
As a receiver, no sign in regression. Like, we
Yeah.
haven't seen anything where it looks like he's going to be worse than what he was. He just didn't get the touches that he usually gets.
No, definitely. Yeah, but I guess last guy for this video, number 11, I had your boy Nico Collins.
Wow.
I think he finishes right outside of the top 10. I think Diggs coming in, obviously, that's gonna be good, right? That's gonna be a good supporting cast for the receiving core. But I think it's gonna be more of a mentor, honestly. Like we saw, like Diggs last year in Buffalo. He still had a great year, but it wasn't like as good as like his previous years, right? But I think now, like I think Nico's the clear one. I think it's a clear one in Houston.
I'm going to disagree with you there because I don't know if it was just me, but didn't something feel off between like Diggs and Allen last year? Like, I don't think it was a Diggs like regressing issue. Mm-hmm. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if Nico finishes as the number one. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I obviously have Nico over Diggs. I'm not mad at it because I'm a Texans fan. I want him to finish as the wide receiver one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But that's my only thing. You guys let us know at home, though. Comment down below if you made it this far. Where would you rank Nico Collins by the end of next year? And let us know at home who you're taking, who we slept on, who your favorite receiver is. All that. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, but most importantly,
Don't forget to run the play.
run it.